He sees passes others don't, moves 2 steps ahead, and turns football into something closer to art than sport. He's the quiet architect of greatness, crafting magic in silence. But his journey to becoming one of the most feared midfielders in the world, it wasn't smooth. It was cruel, painful, and nearly broken before it began. Rejected by his own foster family, isolated by teammates, brushed off as too quiet, too weird, he could have disappeared into obscurity. Instead, he rose to dominate Europe's biggest stages. This is the story of resilience, genius, and the rise of football's silent conductor. This is the story of Kevin de Bruyne, the silent boy from Drongen. Kevin de Bruyne was born on June 28, 1991 in Drongen, a quiet suburb of Ghent, Belgium. A small, fair-haired boy with a distant gaze and few words. He wasn't loud. He wasn't a showman. But even at 5 years old, Kevin had a strange, almost eerie focus. His mother, Anna, was born in Burundi, raised in the UK, and worked in oil-related travel. His father, Herwig, managed Kevin's early football affairs with military precision. But even with support at home, Kevin was different. Socially awkward, deeply internal, and obsessed with the ball. By age 6, he was playing for his local club, KVV Drongen. Coaches immediately noticed something unusual. Not just his technique, but his vision. The way he could control a game, dictating tempo, spotting impossible passes, manipulating space. But off the field, he was shy, isolated, sometimes even ridiculed, and that was only the beginning. Rejected and alone. The pain before the breakthrough. At 14, Kevin joined Genk's Academy, one of Belgium's best youth systems. To chase his dream, he moved in with a foster family provided by the club. He trained, studied, and worked hard. But he barely spoke, and for that, he was seen as cold. After 6 months, the foster family dropped a bombshell. They didn't want him anymore. They told Genk he was too quiet, too strange, not social enough. Kevin was devastated. A teenager abandoned in a city that wasn't his home, made to feel like a burden. He cried in silence. And then something snapped. In that moment of rejection, he made a vow to let his football speak for him. What came next was nothing short of meteoric. He tore through Genk's youth system. By 17, he made his senior debut. At 19, he was a regular starter, pulling strings in midfield and helping Genk win the Belgian Pro League in 2011. Europe began to notice, and soon a Premier League giant came knocking. The Chelsea curse, forgotten in the shadows. In 2012, Kevin de Bruyne signed with Chelsea for £7 million. It should have been his big break. Instead, it was heartbreak. Jose Mourinho, then Chelsea's manager, barely used him. Kevin was loaned to Werder Bremen in Germany, where he quietly impressed, scoring 10 goals and assisting another 9 in just one season. The Bundesliga started whispering about his genius. But when he returned to Chelsea, Mourinho didn't listen. De Bruyne played just 9 games before being frozen out completely. In one infamous team meeting, Mourinho humiliated him, reading out his stats in front of the team to justify dropping him. Humiliated, hurt, and ignored, Kevin made a bold choice. He asked to leave. Mourinho agreed, and so, at 22 years old, Kevin de Bruyne walked away from one of England's biggest clubs, not in disgrace, but in quiet defiance. Reinvention in Germany, becoming world-class at Wolfsburg. In 2014, Wolfsburg paid £18 million for de Bruyne, a move many mocked. But what happened next would shock the football world. In just 18 months, De Bruyne turned into one of Europe's best players. In the 2014-15 season, he delivered 21 assists, a Bundesliga record, and scored 10 goals. Wolfsburg finished second in the league and won the German Cup. Kevin was named Germany's Footballer of the Year. Suddenly, everyone who doubted him was watching. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't loud, but he was surgical. His through balls sliced defenses like lasers. His crosses bent like geometry. His movement, intelligent, economical, lethal. Manchester City came calling. This time it wasn't a gamble, it was destiny. The Pep era, the architect of a dynasty. In August 2015, Manchester City signed De Bruyne for a then club record £55 million. Some pundits still doubted. Chelsea reject, they scoffed. Kevin stayed quiet. Under Pep Guardiola, De Bruyne didn't just thrive, he transcended. He became the beating heart of one of football's greatest ever teams. With Pep's tactical brilliance and Kevin's genius execution, City created a new blueprint for dominance. His stats? Ridiculous. 96 Premier League assists in just over 250 games. Over 100 career goals. PFA Player of the Year twice. Multiple Premier League titles, FA Cups, League Cups, and a historic treble in 2023. But stats only tell part of the story. When De Bruyne is on the ball, you feel something different. A flick, a turn, a no-look pass that no one else would even attempt. He reads the game in 4D. He's not just a footballer, he's an engineer of elegance. The pain behind the glory, injuries, setbacks, and sacrifice. With greatness comes pain. De Bruyne's career has been plagued by injuries, torn ligaments, broken noses, facial fractures, hamstrings, quads, you name it. Some of his finest performances came with visible pain. In the 2021 UEFA Champions League final, he was brutally knocked out with facial fractures after a clash with Antonio Rudiger. City lost. Kevin left the field in tears. But he always came back. Stronger. Smarter. Even in recovery, he studied tactics, watched games, planned his return like a strategist at war. He rarely complained, he just kept going. That's De Bruyne's essence, not invincible, but unbreakable. Belgium's golden generation, the one that got away. With Belgium, De Bruyne became part of the golden generation, alongside Eden Hazard, Romelu Lukaku, Vincent Kompany, and Thibaut Courtois. In 2018, they came close. Very close. Belgium finished third in the World Cup, beating Brazil but falling short against France in the semi-final. De Bruyne, true to form, delivered moments of brilliance, but unlike his club career, international glory always slipped just out of reach. As the generation ages, questions linger. Was it enough? Did this team fulfill its promise? He avoids drama, doesn't party, and rarely grants interviews. He's married to Michelle Lacroix, and the couple has 3 children. Fatherhood changed him, gave him peace, balance, a sense of purpose beyond football. He supports mental health initiatives, donates quietly, and despite being one of the world's most influential athletes, he lives with remarkable humility. No flashy chains, no ego, just excellence. And perhaps that's his greatest legacy, proving that greatness doesn't need volume. It just needs vision. Kevin de Bruyne may never be the loudest. He may never dance after goals or seek the spotlight. But when his boots touch the grass, the world watches. Because in a game filled with noise, he's the silence that speaks loudest. A boy once abandoned for being too quiet became the voice of modern football. Measured, elegant, unstoppable. This is what happens when talent meets intelligence, and genius stays grounded. This was the story of Kevin de Bruyne, the silent maestro of world football. If you enjoyed this documentary, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. At Ball Boy, we tell the real stories behind the icons, beyond the goals, beyond the headlines. Because legends aren't always the loudest. Sometimes they whisper greatness.